Alright, my name is James Williams Jr. I believe it's February the 9th now because it's 12 o'clock. Yep, it's the 9th because it is now 12:25 in the a.m. Okay, so I gotta make this quick because I'm going to bed after I tell this girl she's welcome. Okay, done that. So, I'm a big WWE fan, and my heart goes out to Daniel Bryan. I respect him, and like me, he's like the ultimate underdog, except for he's like 4 inches taller. He's 5'8", so okay, 5 inches taller. Now, I'm gonna tell you why my heart goes out to Daniel Bryan. If you've been paying attention to any of my videos, I have brought this up probably 1,000 times or better. I had a dream. No, not the Martin Luther King speech. I had a dream just because it's February. No, it's not that. I had a dream of being one of the world's greatest martial artists. I had a dream of becoming a kung fu star. I used to want to be a cop before that, but mostly kung fu was my thing. It's always been my thing. It'll always be my thing, even though I'm not legally allowed to do it right now because the doctor said no running, no skipping, no jumping, no heavy lifting, and most importantly, cut your life off at your balls because you can never do kung fu for the moment. Some doctors said no, and at least one said yes. And I don't know which one I should listen to, but I do know that I don't want to be deformed, which is why I had to have the hip surgery because it was just that bad. So his injuries are mostly up there. One too many concussions can kill you, but my injuries are a little bit, I guess, more technical. Because I can't do with my body what I want to do with my body. So my shout out to Daniel Bryant. Much respect, man. Much salute to you. Gonna miss you in the ring. Not that I've ever been in the ring with him. Yeah, let's get that out the way. I'm a kung fu master, not a wrestler. But I'm a kung fu master whose dreams were shattered after joining the army to get a real job and get fucked up. Kung fu was my life, just like wrestling was his life. And when your life takes that unexpected turn so that you can no longer do what you love, it fucking sucks. Alright? There was no force on earth to me that was better than my ability to jump up in the air and kick people who's like 6 feet tall in the face. You know. And now that I can't do that because a doctor fucking tells me, you can't do that, son. You're never probably ever going to do that again. Then I have another doctor that says, sure you can do that. And then I had a therapist that was like giving me treatment for the wrong damn body part. It kind of conflicting. And a lot of doctors weren't on the same page with me. And that shit probably started back in the army where you go to the clinics and you see 5 different doctors, but none of them are on the same page. They read your files and then they either add something or take something and you're pretty much fucked. In a nutshell, I was fucked. And if they would have caught this before I got out of the military, things would have worked out a whole lot differently. I don't really think they actually looked for it because the pain was constantly in my knee. But the thing was, they didn't bring any specialists in until I came home and had to go to McGuire because I was constantly in pain. And as a vet, and a person who doesn't really have a job and can't get arrested getting a job, and all I did was stock work, so now I can't do that because I can't do any heavy lifting. So I'm pretty much fucked because I don't like working with cash, and I don't want to like be the guy in front of the register like trying to figure out the math because I really suck at math. Henceforth, I got infantry, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do, man? I can't do kung fu. This killed my dad. My dad like literally just like fell to pieces when he found out I needed a new hip, and he did more crying than I did. And at the time, I didn't really think of the severity of it because oh, you need a new hip, cool, no problem. Until the doctor hit me with that funny smile and said, son, I don't know how to tell you this. And I'm like, dude, just go on and spit the fucking shit out. I'm a straightforward kind of guy. If you just tell me what I need to know, you know, I can handle that a whole lot better than you beating around the bush and making me look like a fucking dick. So he goes, son, you need a brand new hip. And my dad was in the room with us at the time, which he probably shouldn't have been, but you know, sometimes when you go to the hospital, girls do this all the time, and dudes do it too. You know, y'all might not want to admit to that shit and can't. You know, when a girl goes to an OBGYN, that first time that she's having some strange dude look at her shit, you know, I'm sure she wants her mom in there to make sure this fucker doesn't, like, molest her. And her mom probably is in there to hold her hand, because I think you first go to an OBGYN when you're like 12, 13, somewhere in there, when your body's about to start dropping that blood out. Well, when you're a dude and you're grown, I've only been to the hospital maybe with minor injuries, like maybe 4 times. I guess it depends on how you look at it, since I almost cut off this thumb and almost cut off this middle finger, which were the same 2 fingers that the horse bit when I was 7, and I had a gash over my head because I thought I could fly when I was 5. I um, got severely burnt on my arm and my face and stuff. But other than that, you know, my dad's never had to go to the hospital with me until this shit. So we go to the hospital and we're sitting there and we're talking, and he's like, son, you need a new hip. And my dad, his face just like, he got pale. He's like, what? What the fuck you mean my son need a new hip? And I'm like, I thought it was my knee, dude. And he's like, we set you up, we put you through the CAT scan or whatever that donut thing is, where they send your body through there. He says, okay. We done that, and we found like a few hundred bone spurs. So something got chipped in there when you fell, but they didn't catch it at Fort Benning. And when they gave me the bone scan and the x-ray, apparently it doesn't catch bone fragments and chips. So they didn't catch that. But McGuire caught it. And McGuire said that I shouldn't be in that much pain. So we're going to do something else. And then when I had these stomach pains, they found out that it was not an ulcer, but it was my hip. And it's like, okay, well, apparently you're one of those people that God didn't wire correctly. And like, what? He's like, yeah, you're one of God's mistakes. Yay. Nice to know that, right? One of God's mistakes. So he goes, yeah. Apparently everything that you feel in your knee is actually coming from your hip because your nervous system isn't wired correctly in your legs. It's like, oh, well, that explains a fucking lot. And then when I thought about it, I was like, that kind of explains a lot of things of why I can knee the fuck out of shit and never really feel anybody when I'm like kneeing the hell out of them. And I was like, oh, yeah, interesting. It's like, but I've done wushu, man, and I've never hurt my hip with those hard landings or anything. And now I carry 300 pounds every day, and this happens. It's like, hey, a lot of people who do martial arts think that they can be soldiers, and when they get there, the weight of the backpack is generally what fucks them up. You know, most soldiers have hip problems and knee problems almost to the end of time. I didn't know that going in, you know, because then I probably would have learned math a little bit better so that I would get like alpha instead of like infantry. But anyway, long and short was the guy's like, you need a new hip and you need it like yesterday. In fact, you needed it probably like as soon as you came home because your hip's like gonna be deformed within the next 6 to 8 months if you don't have the surgery immediately. And I'm thinking to myself, what? But I don't even feel pain in there. He said, exactly. I said, but my pain's in my knee. He's like, son, I'm gonna tell you this one time only. You need a new hip. So I got it. And like Daniel Bryant, you know, I made a video before all this. I haven't been able to put anything up yet because I need to go to Best Buy and talk about getting memory for my old Mac, if it is possible. If not, I may have to go to the Clemens Library to see if I can pay someone to put my shit on my site for me because that computer's just not going to do it. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, it's over. Everything I ever wanted is over. And anything, any chance I had at ever just being happy with being Kung Fu, even if I'm single until I'm dead, I always would have Kung Fu. And I don't have that anymore. And that's another reason probably why my other videos that I neglected to mention why I got pissed off talking to dude, because fighting was all I know. It's the only thing I've ever fucking been good at in my fucking entire life is Kung Fu. I took to it like a fish in water, you know, it's the air I breathe. I wouldn't say it was my God, but if there is a God, then, and I believe in God, before I finish that, you know, he gave me this great fucking gift. And not only was I good at it, I was one of the fucking best. No one could really best me. And then the army ruins it by a fucking hole. A hole. I thought when I went to the army that I would die a hero and I would get shot. My parents would get this big ass flag and I get a free funeral. Nope. I fell in a hole. So I understand where Daniel Bryant is coming from for Monday Night Raw with his retirement speech and how it just kind of rolled on and on and on. And, being grateful for everything that he's been through and all that. Hey, man, when your livelihood is taken from you, when the thing you do better than anyone else, because we all have that one thing that we do better than anyone else, when it is taken from you, it really fucks your heart up a lot, because it's just like there's just no end to the depression of that shit. And for me, these videos have been very therapeutic, and I think about it, and having him retire tonight kind of didn't really fly over well with me because I really like Daniel Bryan. He's not like my favorite wrestler, but I don't hate him. You know what I'm saying? He's got one of the hottest chicks on Raw ever. Anyway, I hope he does well. And for me, I didn't give up because I wanted to, and he didn't give up because he wanted to. Medically, we're both pretty much fucked. I'm hoping that with time and this thing integrates well, hopefully by the time I'm 44, which will be like 2 years from now, I can be back into action. But the thing is, I need a right hip too. So, you can see the fucking dilemma. And he had one too many concussions. And they have rules now about concussions in sports entertainment and sports in general. If you get enough of them son bitches, your job's done, buddy. You can hang it up. You might want to start looking for endorsement deals and things because you're not going to be able to compete anymore. And the thing about an athlete, and I don't give a flying fuck what their sport is, when you take them out of that sport, you've ruined their life. You have. You have ruined their life. So again, my heart goes out to Daniel Bryant for his retirement. And I'm hoping like hell that I can come out of semi-retirement. Because my video I made to put up was basically my semi-retirement video. And I hope that everybody in my films and stuff do well. Where I, on the other hand, am up the shit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no going back for me. And at this moment, in this time, I can't do what I want to do with my life, which is make kung fu movies. So it's kind of funny how I never ever thought for a New York minute that this shit would happen. And it's just like being shot. Not out of a cannon. It's just like straight being having a fucking bullet through your brain. And the thing with that, like I said, if you have that one thing that you do better than anyone else taken from you, your life is never the same. I could have been a Power Ranger, but every time I went to any kind of casting call, I wasn't what they were looking for. So, and then there's Millennium Studios. Let's not even get me started on Millennium Studios. Mr. We don't make kung fu movies. And then a year and 6 months after telling me that they make kung fu movies, I'm like, you motherfuckers, man. I could have been an actor a long fucking time ago if I was given the chance. If I had the resources that I need. If I was given the chance to do what I wanted to do in my own studio and a crew that's willing to work and the revenue to pay them, my problems would be over. You know what I'm saying? I'd be rich. And my whole thing was that if I can make enough money to have my own studio, I would never stop working. If there's a movie to be made, if people want to make it, we'd be making it. Low budget, whatever, I don't care. Straight to video, I just want to make movies. It's never going to happen. And I have to accept that. I don't like it, but I have to accept it because no one's really even watching me on YouTube. So, I got my little 6 or 8 subscribers, and I thank you guys very much. And you guys mean the world to me. So, thank you for paying attention. And in the end, I haven't achieved an ounce of success. But, success is how you view it. And to actually have a channel on YouTube, I call pretty fucking much successful because I have more than one guy watching. And that's cool. I've had one insult on one of my videos when I first put it up. And that's cool and everything. And I'm behind in honoring Tree Trang on her birthday, which passed back in December. I've been meaning to do it. I've been going through a lot, and I just haven't been able to honor her. But she was my favorite Power Ranger. She played Trini. She died a long time ago. So in closing, everybody put Daniel Bryant in your prayers and your thoughts, and always say yes. And for me, you know, I don't know if there's any hope for me. If you want to pray for me, that's fine. I'm not going to knock away any prayers. But I've been praying for me for years and nothing's been happening. That does not mean I don't believe in God. It just means God is just not on the same page. And whatever His plan is for me, it needs to hurry up and come to fruition because I'm tired of not being able to do what I want to do with my body. So in closing, I want to thank you guys for watching me. I want to thank you guys, all 6 of you or all 8 of you, however many I have. It's a blessing that I have you all here, and I thank you for that. So my name is James Williams Jr. This is Kung Fu Havoc 2. I'm out.